Here we go. What is going on? So we're in a crawl space. This is sealed crawl space. Yes, we are properly vented. Had no heat call on this one. We were out just a little bit ago. I went and picked up the part and came back. I'm gonna double check it though. Trane furnace, and it's an issue that I have found multiple times in the past couple or so years with these, but I'm gonna double check it. Of course, this is the one that has all the hex key accesses that you have to turn to get the door off, and that is the only reason that I keep this Allen wrench in the bag. Turn those. Now, with that said, if you've got one of the 11-in-1 drivers or something, the when you take your Phillips or flathead screw bit, that small 1/4-inch fitting that also slides out fits in there as well. I just don't keep one of those in this bag. I keep the Allen wrench. So anyway, so we're looking at this. So right now it's idle. The problem I have had, and we've run into this one, and I'm gonna double check it, but the E11 fault code is what was on here. And this thing ran fine, and then suddenly one morning the guy woke up and it was just cold in the house. E11 fault code. So first stage gas valve not energized when it should be. And it says first stage gas valve relay stuck closed. So I guess the relay in the board could stick closed and constantly energize the valve. If it's already doing that, I guess when it gets a call, it goes into this fault. With this particular, the S92, it's also going to give you the same descriptions for second stage relay stuck or energized when it should not be, or not energized when it should be. Trying to troubleshoot that's a little tricky, figuring all that out. But to be perfectly honest, every time at this point in the last 3 years that I have run into that fault code, the only thing that fixed it was a new board. It didn't have anything to do with the gas valve or any of that jazz. So what happens is, like, the thermostat's off right now. We're going to do it real quick. I've got my little plunger needle probes that I'm going to try out today, where I can hook them on these wires on this gas valve when I energize W1 and whatever. See if I'm getting voltage to that valve. I got these on Amazon, and they go on these leads. So let's give them a shot and see how they work. So what we're looking at right now, it's idle, IDL. So I don't have a call from the thermostat. Thermostat's off. When we got here this morning, it was showing the E11 fault code. Cycled the power, cleared it. We disconnected our wires here from the thermostat, and then just jumped it out, W1, W2, and just as soon as you put 24 volts to W1, that thing immediately goes into that fault code. So that's what we're going to try real quick. So first thing I want to do is we are going to connect to my common wire, which is going to be this blue one, and then we're going to stick that plunger in there, and we're going to pierce that wire. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I found that getting the needle probes up inside these plugs on those gas valves is a little tricky. So we're going to just pierce that wire right there. And then we're going to see what kind of voltage we get when we energize this thing. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to disconnect my W coming from the thermostat. And this particular model, well, this one is set up with the jumper between W1 and W2. So you'll go into the, when you do that, you'll just go into this and you'll set an interstage delay of 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes between stage 1. If it energizes W1 and W2 simultaneously, it will initiate that timer, start in first stage, and then based on wherever you set your timer in here, it'll upstage to stage 2. And that's for if you got a single stage thermostat. You don't have a W1, W2. Well, there's a 2-stage thermostat in there, so for whatever reason it's set up that way. But anyhow, I'll find a good place to sit because it's a little tight under here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hook up my R. Now watch when I energize W1. E11 goes straight into that fault, and I am hooked up there, not getting any voltage to it at all. So it's just one of those strange faults. Anybody has had experience with that? Actually, because the relays for the valve are inside the board. They're not, you know, if they're not closing when they're supposed to, or they're stuck open when they're not stuck closed and they're not supposed to be, I mean, it's a board problem. So, I mean, I'm not getting 24 volts right there with that board energized for W1, and we're going straight into that fault. So we're just going to swap this board out. Like I say, this is probably the 5th time in the last 2 or 3 years that I've run into this, and you know, the descriptions is what it is. I haven't seen anything that shows you how to troubleshoot that unless it has something to do with you got your MV and your MVH and your all these wires going to your valve. But I mean, I'm hooked up to it right there, and I'm not getting a low or a low stage fire, which should go first, and then it ramps up into second stage. So let's replace the board and see what happens. Alright, got that one off. New board out. Alright, so I got the little plastic pieces popped out. The board comes with them already on the back of it anyway, so I just took those out. Then you gotta line up your holes and just push them in. Snap it on. And then we'll get our thermostat wires hooked back up. I won't make you watch this part. Alright, thermostat wires are reconnected. All of them except for W. So we'll get the plugs back on. Yeah, make sure you get these lined up. And don't end up one way or the other, one this to the left or to the right. Other ones, my neutrals, low voltage for my safeties. That's going to be our igniter and our inducer. That's it. So now I'm going to go back and reconfigure this new board for the equipment. You think Trane could afford one more staple in their manuals so it actually opens like a book. Now it just flops all over the place. So anyway, so the S9X2 right here. So you got to go through this thing and set it all up. And I probably won't take you through that. Maybe. We'll see. And let's jump this thing out. Let's see what happens. Put the meter back on. So check for our bolts over here. Like I said, I've got the wires pierced. So we're going to run first stage first and see what happens. There on top of the furnace. So I'm going to hook up to R and then W1. And voila, no fault code. So I don't know what it is about these boards, if we have an electrical surge or not, I don't know, that causes that problem. But there's our igniter. Gas valve energized. Piercing probe right there that I'm using. And we have 26 volts. So we'll wait for this blower to come on and we'll energize W2. And that'll take care of this thing. So yeah guys, I don't know anybody you got other than Ted. I don't know what experience he's got with this fault code on these S9s. Every time I have done it, it's just needed a board and I never have to go back. So blower is on. We'll come over here and energize stage 2. Let it ramp up. Heat stage 2. So that's it guys. Bad board in a Trane, 3 years old. That thing right there. You get that E11 fault, just stop and get you a board on the way. Appreciate you guys watching. See you on the next one.